Hello, people. Inter Worldwide here. Welcome everyone to this live stream Inter update. I'm here with the Interspaces Kings, the one that runs it all the time, Mr. Gianni. How are you? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have you here with me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. I got my astute counterpart over here who's always giving me a hard time on things, so can't wait to get started.
All the love, Mr. Hooyan, here with us again after all the streams we did together last season at the end of the season where we lost to Milan. That Scudetto, man, that was weird. But Hooyan, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Against Gianni. I know you guys, you have opposite opinions, but all the love is shared always on these spaces. All
Always.
the respect, all the love. Welcome to the channel, my friend.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back. It's good to be on the channel again. I love the work you and Anthony always do, and keep this community going. And I'm glad to be able to play my part. And shout out to everybody that's in the live too. Good to see all your comments, and I see some familiar faces in there too.
Let me just start to shout out the people that are already here. Mighty Mo, a regular on this channel, always here with us. He's happy that Skriniar does stay, but we don't know. We're just still talking about Harry. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. Absolute pleasure. It's 9:30 p.m. in the UK, 4 p.m., 4:30 Eastern Time, Central Time, 3:30. Yes, Emiliano's always here. Thank you so much. Urban Sniper, thank you so much for being here with us. Anthony, all the love, man, all the love. And Francesco, hello, my friend. Sanchez. Okay, let's talk about one thing only. Inzaghi's comments in the press conference when he said, I'm going to start with this right away, guys. I know that everybody wants to talk about Bremer. Everybody wants to talk about Dybala and all this stuff. We'll cover that maybe a little bit later, but there is a very important thing that is no doubt, it's just something that the coach already said. I'm going to start with Gianni. Onana is not going to be the starter. It is going to be Handanovic, and this is coming from the mouth of our coach Inzaghi. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I really expected anything different initially. I'm pretty confident that that's, what was he really going to say, in all honesty? He's not going to come out and disrespect his captain from last season, the starting keeper. I think that you really also can't just hand the position to Onana. I think he needs to really work for it, earn it. And I feel like that is an easier way and a more respectable way to take over the starting role as goalkeeper. So I'm okay with those words. I mean, I think the only thing that really bothered me was the way he kind of spoke of how highly Handanovic played last season. Maybe we were watching different games, but you know what? I'm not going to criticize it. He's not going to rip him in the media. So it's I'm okay with it. But I think we all know that eventually, maybe hopefully before the World Cup, that way Onana can get some games in and be able to go with Cameroon and kind of be able to transition smoothly there. So
Hooyan, I just want to ask you the question. Do you believe that, or you think that in 2-3 games, as we discussed on some of the Twitter spaces, that it will be 2-3 games? Gianni thinks it's maybe by the World Cup, like half a season, 2 months. Are you expecting
sooner,
2-3 games? You hope so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Onana comes in right away after 2-3 games, and then it's a quick transition. Do you expect that, Hooyan, quick transition or a slow transition?
It's all going to depend on Handanovic, basically. Like once if he's still making those clumsy errors, can't dive for anything, easy goals. Like there's games, I remember the Sassuolo match. They only took 4 shots, 2 were goal, one hit the post, and the other one he nicked it. So literally, it's all going to depend on him. If Handanovic plays really well and amazing, like why can't you bench him? Same thing when Robin Gosens was coming. You need to earn your spot, just like Gianni said. Nobody's given the spot here, and you need to come in here and earn your spot. You need to prove that you're better than the player that's already at the spot. So it's going to come down to Handanovic, basically. If Handanovic is playing amazing out of his mind, why take him out? But if he's still doing some clumsy errors and, not diving or doing his laser movement like he always does, then I believe Onana will step in and take over at that point. or at least
Yeah,
get
it's
a.
yeah. Richard Hall here said it. He is the one that runs the English version of the Inter podcast on the Inter channel. He said that Handanovic will be the starting goalkeeper next season, and it is by Andre Onana is the perfect long-term replacement, and it looks like it's gonna be like the Toldo Julius Caesar thing that happened at the late 2000s when Julius Caesar became one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but it was just a slow transition between Toldo and Julius Caesar. In my opinion, you sign Onana for free. It's a long-term solution. Handanovic was terrible some games, but then towards the end of the season, I thought he kind of had really, really good saves, and maybe he has a lot of experience in Serie A, and I think he can teach Onana some stuff because it's a different game. And Onana coming from Ajax is going to help that he plays with his feet because of that school. And then Inter Inzaghi is trying to play from the goalkeeper all the way up to the midfield to the forward. So I think Onana is going to slot in really well. But again, as Gianni said, it's his captain. He cannot just insult the guy and come out and say, you're out, goodbye, see you tomorrow, come later. But it's going to be a transition. Guys, let me know what you think about this. Onana, Antonio is a friend of us, always on the space, gets his fair share, but gradual transition. I absolutely agree, and we all agree. Gio is here from New York. Thank you, Gio, for tuning in. Is always a friend of the show. Uh, One thing, again, that is very okay. This is the awkward thing. It is I think it's the Bremer situation, guys, right? Like, let's talk about Bremer a little bit. Here's what I didn't like a little bit. Torino now is talking about 50 million, which is kind of insane for a player that has a release clause in January for 15 million. As we're seeing like a I'm just gonna show you the tweet from it's from Inter Worldwide. It is here we go. It is right here. It says Shiro wants 40 million euros for him. Now I heard, like in the last 2 hours, I heard 50 million. Maybe Gianni can enlighten us about this. The guy has a 15 million euro release clause in January, and the guy already agreed to move with Inter. He wants Inter. He only wants Inter. How is this gonna be? How do you see this panning out, Gianni? Is gonna be complicated, or is just gonna go smooth?
I think it's really going to be a smooth thing. I think it's Cairo trying to position himself and try to make a power move. But realistically, he has no power in this situation. He made, a deal with Bremer to extend his deal to be able to get a certain amount of money in the summertime. As our friend Tony likes to say, the golden handshake. The agreement he already has with Inter and Marotta. And realistically, I think it gets done for a loan plus obligation. I'll say that, maybe it'll get up to 35 million tops. Like, Inter was already looking at 30 million. So I think it'll be like 5 million plus another 30, depending on specific bonuses and maybe games met and stuff like that. I'm not too worried about it in all honesty. I mean, I think the only thing I'm really worried about is if Juve is ever able to come in and offer something. But again, I think Bremer is pretty much set on Inter. He's turned aside any other offer. He's named after Andy Bremer. I mean, the sign is in the stars, man. I'm really think that's going to be done hopefully in the next week or so.
Hooyan, do you see him replacing Skriniar, or you see him as a replacement for De Vrij, a long-term replacement? I want to get your opinion about the technicalities of Bremer. Is he a good passer? Tell the people that haven't watched him enough, how is this gonna be changing the way Inter plays?
No, for anybody that's watched Bremer play, he's fast, he's strong. Like, Inter can play a high line because if a player does get passes, we have somebody like Bremer that can chase him down. That's one thing that I don't know how long it's been, but you guys can probably enlighten. I don't remember last time Inter had a center back with speed, with pace. Most of our speed and pace in defense comes from our wing back. So with Bremer, we won't have that issue. And the replacement, we knew Renoke was going to leave. De Vrij he's on the last year, and I think if it wasn't for his agent passing away, I think he would have been gone a long time ago. So Inter was willing already expected to lose him. But at the end of the day, Bremer will come in and probably fit in that center role where Dybala used to be, and be able to dictate from there. And realistically, he's a great passer. He's a manhunter. Like he's a hawk. He'll hunt down the ball. And at the end of the day, that's what Simone Inzaghi wants. He wants to be able to play a high line. He likes that attacking foot. So having Bremer in there is going to be good. And then for the thing about the president with Cairo, a lot of these managers in Italy, Sassuolo owner, even the Calgary owner, they always give struggle when you're going to get a player from him, player from their teams. So I think this is just him trying to act hard and tough. But if Bremer was going to go somewhere, the market's been open for over a month. So he would have went somewhere a long time ago. He's Inter just got to find out the math.
For me, I'm just worried about the Premier League, to be honest. Like that. I'm just thinking about that Butman guy with Milan when he was like, they told us that he already had a deal with them and everything is done, and then Newcastle comes in and bam, he's gone. We are Inter, we're not AC Milan. However, we're not as rich as the Premier League. And if this guy, someone offers him way more money than the deal with Inter, at the end, these people feed their families. I know that we talk about passion, wanting to join a club and everything, but the fact that I keep thinking about someone can come and offer this guy 8 to 9 million euros a year because of just his profile, and just pay 30 million for someone like him is a steal in this market, in my opinion. 35, even
Huge
40
team.
million euros
Huge.
is a steal. And these Premier League people are actually looking, most of the teams are looking for center backs. It's Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, and these people will splash the 50, the 60. I know that it's a gentleman's agreement between Bremer and Inter months ago, but at the end, I know how professional footballers think sometimes. And I've been told that sometimes families come first. And I'm just afraid if we don't close this deal soon, it might slip out of our hands, especially with this the owner is thinking about money and actually publicly saying that he wants money for him. So I'm just afraid. I know that you two are more calm than me about these situations. The thing about it is that I watch a lot of Premier League streams, and I know the money they talk about is in a different level than what we talk. We talk about 35,
Absolutely.
40. These people talk
Mhm.
about 60 right away. They jump on like, yeah, this guy, like, it's not only like, hey, like Premier League, like you get an example of Skamaka, 50 million PSG, done. It's over. 50 million, done. I'm just afraid that is 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 gonna be something similar to this. I hope that I'm as calm as Gianni about this and spaces that he's just confident that Bremer is coming to Inter. But again, let's just move on to one deal that is probably tied to this. Skriniar to PSG. Now we heard Marotta or someone reported that we don't need the 60 million profit now. We need it June 2023. I'm gonna start with Hooyan. What do you think about the Skriniar situation? Since as of now, PSG, they haven't reached the money that Inter is asking for, which is 70 million. They're only offering 60. Are you feeling that Skriniar is going, or are you feeling that Skriniar is staying? Because today, I think his agent or someone come out and said that Skriniar is practicing with Inter. He's in training and he is putting full on Inter jersey until something else changes. So how do you feel about that?
No, absolutely. Like you just alluded to it. Like yes, we need to make profit, but at the same time is on our side. And Skriniar is not a player where he has attention. If it's not PSG, City can look at him, Madrid. So he is a player that's always going to have attention. And yes, he's on a 1 year deal, but let's just say PSG wants to play hardball, doesn't want to give the 70, 80 million Inter's asking for. Renew him, and the next year see what's up or what comes up, whatever it is. So realistically, until PSG, which in my opinion, I think they're going to end up throwing the cash, especially from what I heard, the new coach wants to play three at the back, and Skriniar would be perfect for three at the back. They're gonna splash the cash at the end of the day. But realistically, Inter is no rush, and as long as as long as the money is right, that's the only time we're gonna come. If the money's not right, I to be honest, if in the next week or two, If PSG doesn't increase the value, I think Inter just says, "Hey, no, he's not for sale anymore. Let's move on now. Let's get our season started." So the ball is in Inter's court right now.
Gianni, about this, he's gonna train as normal at Inter. Does that change the way a coach thinks, Inzaghi? If he is in the preseason for a month and then end of July or beginning of August, right, 2 weeks before the season starts, he's gone. How do you feel about that, and how do you think that affects our transfer strategy because of Milinkovic? He's coming, he's not coming. Akanji, is that something? Do you want this to be done now or not, or you're okay with Inter negotiating with PSG for the long time as long as Inter gets the money they want?
Yeah, I'm okay with it if as long as Inter gets what they want. And I think because now we know that we're kind of in a power position in the sense that it doesn't have to be done as fast as we thought it had to be done. That allows us. That really gives us more strength. Like really, it's like PSG. Either you pay up now if you really want it, or it's going to be more expensive next summer for you. Like so, good luck. Like everyone who watches Inter knows Skriniar is at least $100 million player. So really the only reason it's even this low is because he only has 1 year left. He already has an agreement to renew his contract and extend. So if you don't sell him now, great. Now we extend his contract. We can get 100 million next summer. And if that happens, so then you could potentially have Skriniar, Bremer, and Bastoni as your back three.
Math watering.
I mean that's a dream come true. Like I think any Inter fan, that's all we want to see next season is that potential back three. Because good luck scoring on us. Like we were already one of the best defenses last year. Now you add Bremer to that and a goalie like Onana who's competent and can actually make saves. I mean that would be a dream come true. And I'm not really worried about that either. If the money comes and we get the 80 million or even 70 million plus bonuses that eventually gets up to 80, great. I mean, Marotta is the best at what he does. So he's not going to rush anything or just panic accept or whatever it is. Now, in regards to Inzaghi and wanting to implement his style of play, I mean, just look at last season, really. Like he had Lukaku for most of the training, and then we sold him. And then we had to like rush and get Dzeko in. He was able to get one warm-up game before even really starting the season. I think Inzaghi is able to adapt pretty quickly and easily on the fly, as you can see what we did. So if we ended up selling, Skriniar and then maybe having to renew De Vrij and then move Bremer to the right side, I'm sure, Inzaghi has a plan, already for what could potentially happen. So not too worried about it. I'm sure, like I trust him. So
Here's one thing: Skriniar leaves, we don't get Bremer. What happens?
Skriniar leaves and we don't
Now
get Bremer.
that smile that you just did, it's kind of like it's like okay, at this point, all we said is that like we're not winning Scudetto. What are we doing here?
I mean, I don't see Marotta allowing that to happen. If he thinks he's going to lose Bremer, I'm sure he's going to work something out to make sure he keeps Skriniar then. And they find another way to raise this money. I don't know what that is. I don't know what's even realistic or possible. But I don't think Marotta is going to allow himself to then completely weaken his defense and then have no solution. Like even if you do bring in Milenkovic, let's say, and to put him in the right side or whatever, I know Marotta, Inzaghi, they all look at that as a much weaker defense. So I don't think they're really going to allow that to happen. I'm sure the same, how Marotta told Ericsson that, hey, if other offers come in, let me know, and then we can like maybe speed up this thing. I'm sure he has that same type of conversation with Bremer's agents, with anybody else's agents, that he is just making sure that he's aware of everything going on around him so that he's never put in that type of situation. Now, is it possible? Of course, anything's possible, but I don't think it'll get to that.
Antonio's saying this situation won't happen. The problem is
Tony
Antonio.
knows.
I know. Tony is very confident when he talks about these things, and I applaud him for this. And I'm gonna come to you, Hooyan. I'm just gonna say one thing. I am terrified of the no money situation. I'm terrified of the way Inter makes deals, to be honest. Like the loan with an obligation to buy later, because I know how greedy some of the owners in Serie A, some of the people that run teams in Serie A, how greedy they are. And the problem now is that Bremer's name is on every club's like agenda now. Like they're talking about him in the Premier League. It's like, oh my god, look at this guy, look at the highlights. And of course, none of them watch Serie A at all. They just watch highlights and think this guy, oh my,
Compilations.
this guy can slot in really well. Anyway, this scenario is not gonna happen based on Antonio. Tony thinks is not gonna happen. I don't believe it's gonna happen because I trust Marotta about this. Like as Gianni said, he's not gonna just allow both things to fall apart. It's maybe this or that, but not both of them fall because now you really dismantled everything that Inter built for Inzaghi last year. You'll need replacements and stuff like this. Milinkovic Hooyan as a replacement for Skriniar. How happy are you gonna be if this happens?
No, no. Look, Milinkovic, like I said, his body type looks like a really physical character. But let's be honest, there's no replacement for Skriniar. There's no replacement. The only reason Skriniar is leaving, it's not because we're getting Bremer. The reason that we're losing Skriniar is between him, Barella, Lautaro, and Bastoni. That's the only reason Skriniar is the man out. And realistically, it's going to be a big loss, not just on the pitch, but I also believe in the locker room. You guys know who Skriniar is. He loves the badge. And Milinkovic coming in is more of a, you know, let's try to keep something base, in the defense. In my opinion, I don't think we're going to lose the Rye and Skriniar. And the only reason I want to say that is because that's too much messing, tampering with the back line. And the Rye, you if you lose him for free next year, we got him for free anyway. So it's not like capital gains or anything is nothing worse. So I really think if Skriniar does get sold to PSG, the Rye is going to stay there, and Bremer will probably shift over to the other side, and then Milinkovic can come on just like a Renaki role and just do a rotation. But yeah, that's my opinion on Milinkovic. I'm not saying he's a bad player. Maybe he can come in intern actually exceed my expectation, because when Skriniar was coming in, especially with Conte, he had that issue that one season that he almost did left and being left on the bench and Goldie starting over him. So anything could happen. He may turn out to be a good player, but at the moment, I don't see him as a replacement.
Do you guys know what the problem is? I don't see Bremer as a right side center back. That's a problem. Every time I watch the guy, he's very strong, fast, clears the ball really well, physically very, very strong. The problem is he's not. Skriniar played for his national team as a central midfielder. That means he can carry the ball. I know it sometimes looks awkward, but he can carry the ball. Conte relied on him actually to go to the right side, way up. Like when I was like doing the analysis for these games, he was going up. Can Bremer do this? He's definitely a center back in a back three in the center. Can he be a right center back? I don't know yet. It's going to be an experimental, a learning curve for him. But I think Milinkovic on the ball is a better player. He's not as fast at all as Bremer at all. But moving forward, I think Milinkovic is a very good option to move forward. Defensively, I'm not sure that the guy can actually be as good as Bremer, to be honest, or Skriniar, or even Bastoni. None of them. But that's why I think Bremer is the one who's going to replace De Vrij. I know that we talked before about Bremer being on the right, De Vrij in the middle, and Bastoni on the left. I'm not sure if I'm the coach, I would want to do that. I want to make this happen. I would still want a player that can carry the ball to move up. Like, I don't know, like D'Ambrosio or something. But I'm not going to choose D'Ambrosio over Bremer, but I might start Bremer in the middle, and I have somebody else on the right, Darmian or D'Ambrosio, someone that can carry the ball. It's very essential for the three in the back that the two center backs can carry the ball forward. And this is what we saw in Zaghi last year, changing Bastoni, who was probably some games was really, really good, to put DeMarco just to move the two center backs out of their position and up to support the attack. That's the only reason why I don't see Bremer replacing Skriniar. I think it's Milinkovic replacing Skriniar if Skriniar gets sold. And I'm still in favor of De Vrij being sold, just for the reason is that even if we get 15 million for the guy this year, it's a win because we're going to lose him next year. Unless he renews with Inter. Who knows what happened? I heard, I think it was Tony said that on a space, who said, who knows? De Vrij might renew with Inter and then we sell him next year for 15, 20 million. Maybe that will happen. But I would like to see a right side center back that can move the ball forward, which is going to be Milinkovic if Skriniar leaves. And this is just my opinion about this. What do you guys think? What do you think about that thing, Gianni?
Listen, I mean, I think Bremer could work as a right center back personally. I mean, yes, he's not the best at bringing the ball forward. that could be something that has to be adapted. But did we really know that Skriniar was going to be able to do what he did initially? Like, I understand he plays a central defensive mid position for Slovakia, but it's something he still had to learn and grow into. And Bremer is Brazilian. I mean, they are fantastic footballers. I mean, I don't think he's really going to have a hard time adapting and learning that. I understand that, like, yeah, it is good to have those outside center backs to be able to push forward, but that's also what you have your wing backs for too. So if he has to lean on whether it's Dumfries or Bellanova on the right side, maybe initially to get really comfortable and his feet underneath him, in my personal opinion, I don't really care if my right center back is pushing the ball forward. I want to make sure that he is able to defend the people in front of him, not get beat. And if he does get beat, have the pace to be able to recover quickly. Yes, that's a bonus to have that on Bastoni on the left side, really. I mean, that's more of his strength, really, being able to bring the ball forward, cross it in, deliver those long passes. Defensively, though, I don't really rely on him and wouldn't really want him to be a key guy getting back there. So, anything that we can get out of Bremer is a bonus, in my opinion. I really would just want him. If you look at who the best defenders are potentially that we could have in our lineup, I want my best guys out there game in and game out. Because my whole thing, like, I'd rather win a game 1-0 than win a game 5-4 and be having a heart attack the whole time, worrying about my defender was caught out of position and now he's got to scramble back. So if we are able to limit the amount of shots that even a guy, let's say Handanovic, has to face, that's a huge bonus in itself.
Someone just saying to you that Emerson Royal is a Brazilian, but he's absolutely terrible on the ball.
I mean, he's also not really Brazilian. His name's Emerson Royal. We found out he's Canadian. So,
okay, Hooyan. The last thing about this is how do you see Inter changing the way we play when we have speed going forward? Is it only the high line, or do you see us changing to two in the midfield only because you have speed and playing three up top, like if Dybala comes in, or not?
I think when you have speed, you can actually play a better counterattack and be able to draw the opponents in like Conte was doing, because he had Hakimi, he had Lukaku with 1-2 passes. I remember season, not this season, but the past season, we took like 3 passes and we were started from our own 18-yard, our own box, and with 3 passes we were already into the opponent's third phase. So when you have speed on your team, it lets you play a different way. It lets you do the counterattack. It lets you be able to spread out more, cover more ground. And then that sometimes, especially on the small teams, that drains them because that requires the players to cover more ground that you're occupying. So the other way we're gonna see way more counterattack than we do build up. We still may be building up, but with Dzeko, come on, we're not going to be able to take the ball from half field and go to the other side with Dzeko. But now that you have Lukaku, Dumfries is there, Bremer's there, Bastoni can move the ball. Like you guys alluded to, DeMarco's good. Gosens also not a slouch himself. So realistically, speed is really going to be able to help you shift the field, go from defending to countering real quickly. So I feel like we're going to see more counter like we did towards the end of the second season with Conte.
Okay. I think this is, for some reason, a lot of Inter fans are really worried about Dybala more than, like, I hear a lot of Dybala talk more than Skriniar, more than Bremer. For some reason, we're obsessed with Dybala. We want Dybala on our team for some reason. I was never a big fan of Dybala just because of the injury, because I would want a player to come in and be able to guarantee you 25 to like 30 games out of the 40 something we play. Like the Dzeko played 40 something game. I would want a player to play 20 games. Hear me out about this. Dybala already agreed the 5 million contract with one bonus. They already agreed with his agent. What's the holdup? Yesterday, Manchester United came on the picture. And when they talked about what is his demand, and someone said 6 million euros, they laughed at us. They're like, what? 6 million? That's nothing. Martial makes 10. Rashford makes 12. This guy, 6 million is nothing. We can definitely pay this guy's wage. Hooyan, Dybala, is he a luxury signing, as Marotta said? Or do we actually need him for the future because we don't know if Lukaku's staying? How do you feel at Dybala? Is he a priority? Is he not? Talk to me about it.
If I am leading into as a director, Dybala has to be priority. The reason I say that, you just said right now, Lukaku is a rental. We don't know what's going to happen with Lukaku. You need to get someone, at least Dybala, we know we own him. Things don't work out, we can sell him, we can move him. But Lukaku, he's a short-term fix, could be long-term. On top of that, Dybala is going to bring a lot of eyes. And I said that on the space a lot of time. The man has his own cult. I know cult is like a bad word to use, but he has his own, nation that'll come along and get that extra revenue that Inter needs, get that extra eyes. And then for Suning, if they want to sell Inter, having Dybala on your roster, that's another plus. That increases the value of your club. So Dybala, and then the last thing I want to say Dybala is also the fact that Champions League, he's a proven player there. That's the biggest thing about him. He's a proven player. He can literally be that man when we need a goal to come out and save us. So I think we should definitely go after him. But the biggest thing is Sanchez is what I'm hearing that's holding the deal up.
Oh, talk to me, Gianni, about this guy Sanchez who is holding into Inter as his mom doesn't want to leave, holding up the Dybala deal. Tell me about it.
I'm about to get the FBI involved in that because he's definitely holding Inter hostage right now. It's kind of ridiculous the way he's holding up our movements and being able to bring in someone like Dybala. I think it's pretty much like set in stone, though. Like we just have to clear space. I'm not worried about Manchester United. Nobody wants to go there. That place that's where careers go to die, man. I'm so sorry. Like
100%.
So many players have gone there and left and gotten better. I don't think that's a coincidence. So if Dybala is serious, I don't think he'll really want to go there. He will be such an important part for us in terms of the Champions League. I truly feel, though, having that ability to be able, whether you want to take out someone like Lukaku out, bring in Dybala, Lautaro out, bring in Dybala, having to be able to like have that. Oh, that would be that thing from Sharma got me laughing. I'm sorry, but being able to have that just wealth on the bench, like that's a huge improvement and a huge step up from what we had last season. And I think that he would be such a great player to get in. Plus, like Hooyan was saying, having that marketability and that built-in fandom, like that's going to be great for jersey sales. That's going to be great for getting people into the games. I mean, not that we have a problem getting fans at the stadium, but that's even going to bring more eyes to it. And people who may not have been interested in Inter before, that's a huge plus. Plus, you're stealing a guy from a direct rival. That's always a win. Like you don't have any idea how much more fun the Derby d'Italia is going to be, knowing that if we get Dybala and can go there, they're going to hate us. We're going to hate them. And then if he scores, bro, chaos. I cannot wait. Cannot wait to see what can happen. There it is. Look at that.
Mayang here saying that what's the point if he's injured?
Well, the guy played 31 out of 38 games last year in the league.
Yes, he did. So
he's
people just forgot that. Like, and he bowled, man. He had like double-digit goals and a lot of. He
on a
was
very
great.
mediocre Juve team. Like I even if he only gives us 16 games,
yeah,
what he could bring is still better than what we had coming from Correa in his limited games.
And with the wage is not that high to be 5 million plus one. That's nothing.
That's like, less than what we're paying Sanchez. Like it's a no
this
brainer.
Is a great, guys. We got 60 people here. Please make sure to like the video before you move. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Help us expand. Get us the love. Get us to expand. Share this video with your friends on your platforms if you want, on Twitter, and just get us to expand. Couple of things. This is very tied to the deal. Is it Dzeko leaving? Is it Korea getting sold? Talk to me, Gianni, again about it. Tell me, how is it Dzeko, the dynamic of that transfer? Is it Sanchez, Dzeko, Korea, Dybala slot in? How many? Number one, how many forwards are we going in with the season for? What's the optimal number, you think?
In terms of the amount of competitions we're involved in, to me, 5 is the optimal number. However, I think they want to go into the season with 4. That's a lot of, legendary players and a lot of high profile forwards that are not going to really want to be riding the bench that much. As much as I do like Dzeko and how great he was for us last season, for at least in the first half, it's going to be hard, especially on his high wages, to keep him around for limited game time. Dzeko, I think would be the easiest to move just because we could allow him to leave on a free, whereas Correa, you'd have to either find a way to loan him out. There's no way we could sell him because no one's going to really be able to pay what we paid, or even come close to what we paid. So Dzeko would be the easiest to move. I think the only thing, like Sanchez is, I mean, it's really just figuring out a way to make him happy so he goes away. With Dzeko, I mean, yeah, he does have interest from Monza. I would be so happy if Monza came in and got him. I think that also guarantees that they probably would finish in the top 10 in Serie A next season if they bring
Champions
in a
League
forward.
spots. Icardi, Dzeko. This is Champions League team, man. If
I
they
mean,
get Belotti as well, instead of going to Torino, this is a
I
front
mean,
line that can score
as long as
goals.
they don't get Icardi, I'm happy for them. Like Icardi, I think would just be, although for entertainment purposes he'd be great, I still don't think he really offers much more anymore. So selfishly, I don't want him to go there because I just can't stand Icardi. But if
Dybala is
Dzeko
a
was
set
able to
piece
go,
option.
what'd you say?
Dybala is a set piece option with Hakan. To be honest, this is something else. He's a
Exactly. Yeah.
very
No,
good
it's
set piece
another
option.
great thing, and he gives us a left-footed guy to put it in, whereas Hakan's
Yeah.
the right guy. So it would be it
For
would be great,
marketing
man.
purposes as well. This is a very good comment. Hooyan, do you let me just say something. I see actually if Dzeko staying, I see Dzeko and Lukaku starting. If Dybala doesn't come in, I see Dzeko and Lukaku starting. Are you set on Lula, on Lautaro Lukaku, or you think that Dzeko can offer us something that Lautaro doesn't in the 18, especially if Lukaku is the one who's gonna hold the ball and move that 40, 30 yard like what he did with us and Conte, or you only see Lukaku Lautaro?
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine Lukaku and Dzeko unless the other guys go down or something suspension. But I think they're definitely going to go with the Lautaro Lukaku starting to begin with and start building pieces from there because we know from Conte's days that worked. They played well together. They had chemistry together. They understand and that worked well. And if I would, for me, in my opinion, I would love for Dzeko to stay and Correa to go because he'll be a vice Lukaku. We'll still have a big man there in the presence and be able to help us there. But like you guys said and Gianni said, due to the fact that he only has 1 year left on his contract, he's getting interested from all these other clubs for him to go, and it's going to be very difficult for someone to come in and take Correa for 30 million or even close to what we paid for him, which I don't see that happening. But at the end of the day, I think the number one pair that people need to dethrone or be able to take away from the position is going to be the Lukaku Lautaro. I don't see any. I don't. To be honest, I think Lautaro is going to get a bigger role next season due to the fact of how much progression he did, and I feel like he is that main striker now. Yes, Lukaku's here, but hey, he's on loan, so don't piss off Lautaro to please Lukaku, and then he end up going back to Chelsea. Now it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, Dzeko is a backup for Lukaku. People are saying. I see Dzeko's role being primarily a super sub for a new season, as people said. Alexis, if you don't leave, he should take a pay cut. It's not up to us, guys. We are the club who freaking signed this contract with this guy. It's not like he doesn't have to take a pay cut. The only thing we can do is just freeze him out. Huh?
Yeah, he's definitely not going to take one. Like you said, yeah, the only thing we can do is freeze him out. But he wants to play, so it's like, why not? They're offering, I think, 4 to 5 million just to pay off. Just take your money, go play elsewhere. You want to play? You're not going to play at Inter. Like, if you think by holding us hostage, that's going to get you in the lineup, nah, man. You'll be banished to the reserves.
No, the man is pissing me off because he got multiple offers. I heard even some clubs are willing to get close to what he makes at Inter, but because of his high expectations or his high ambitions, he's like sitting on it. And I realistically think he's the one holding the Dybala story up because, like you guys said, we have too many forwards. There's no way we can bring in I think he'll be the 7th one that comes in, if I'm not, or 5th one, whatever it is, 6th one it is. So it's so frustrating what Sanchez is doing right now. But I think at the end of the day, Inter is going to be ready to take the losses and do what they got to do to get rid of him. But we'll see.
I don't understand how people are saying they don't see Lukaku going back to Chelsea. Like, who's going to pay the money? We don't have the money to pay. It's either they sell him or they loan him again to us, which is going to be very strange from them.
That's probably what they're going to do, though. So I don't know if you know about this, Mo, but the chances are we would probably loan him again next season. And then in 2024, 25, then there's a clause in his contract that he could be sold for something like 40, 45 million. I don't remember what it is. Something really a lot cheaper than what he got bought for. So if go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so if that is the case, and somehow Marotta's able to pull that off. I mean, another wonder stroke. I mean, and all. I mean, I don't know how if I'd want to spend that much for a 31-year-old at that time. I think, but even if that is what they want to do, I'm all for it. You know, like
Yeah, in my opinion, I see him playing very good season with Inter, having a good World Cup, and then Chelsea will get an offer for 60, 70 million for him, and they will cut their losses. It's not going to be, it might be from PSG next year. It might be like he's going to be the foot. It might be from a club like someone that will offer him 60, 70 million. Someone will make that mistake again and offer big money just because he is having a good season at Inter. And this is it. I want to move on from this. I'm gonna go to two comments. Number one is that someone is Adriano is saying that reports saying first meeting from Bremer took place today. Torino is asking for 40. We talked about Bremer and 40 million. I think as Gianni said, it's going to be probably 30 plus 5 or 35 plus 5 bonuses, something closer to this, but we don't have the money to be paying that this year. It will be next year as same as Korea and all the other deals. Couple of comments. Let's show this guy. Any updates on Lazzaro and Dalbert? As of now, no. I can't believe that I'm still talking about Lazzaro and Dalbert in 2022, going to 2022-2023 season. This Sharma today tweeted something that said someone has to ask, and you responded to him. Someone has to answer for this. For these two, I think these two are one of the worst transfers that enter. Like Korea's 35 million from Lazio is a different story. He still can play football. These two cannot even come close to any top 10 teams in Serie A, like not even top 12, top 13 teams. But these two are still on our roster. Lazzaro has a contract until 2024, from what I understand. That's still 2 more years. Where are these guys going? Does anybody have any idea where these guys are going? Or are they staying with us? Are we loaning them out? Are we like, oh, she's like, what are we doing with them?
Did the deal for Lazaro, I think was in Bruce and Labback, was doing 7? Did that like fail or something? Because that's the last time I heard that they were.
Yeah, that's the last thing I heard was Borussia Mönchengladbach was offering like 8 million for Lazzaro. I don't know if that's going to go through. I mean, at this point, they could offer us like 4 signed balls in a kit, and I'd be okay getting rid of them just because they're both trash. And the Dalbert deal drives me insane is because Inter wanted Rick Karsdorp, who went to Roma instead, and they just made a move for Dalbert after. I don't know whose idea that was. If it was Piero Ausilio, then yes, Sharma, you're right. Somebody should sit him down and ask him why. I don't understand how that deal ever went through. Like even when you watch like compilations of him, which I never think is a good gauge of a player. Him and Joao Mario are probably the 2 players I watched. I was like, I don't understand what we're signing right here. Like I never saw any potential in either one of them. So I hope somebody comes in. I mean, Salernitana, if you want Pirola, why don't you take Dalbert too for free? Like just get him out of here.
Yeah, I see Dalbert going probably out another loan, and then I think Lazaro we can find somebody to, maybe chump change, but I think someone will come and get him. But I think we're gonna end up doing Joe Mario and end up next season cutting ties with Dalbert because I don't see anybody coming to pay for anything. You know what I mean? Realistically, besides a loan deal.
Going to project Kill Them Youth. But guys, we signed Aslani, we signed Villanova. These are very young kids. This comment here, really happy to see us investing in Primavera, bringing up Cassidy and buying Aslani and Villanova. How many games do you guys see these guys getting? Villanova and Aslani, and lately we have seen Aslani's numbers. The guy looks great, but is he going to come in and do us a good job to get the evergreen Brozovic a little bit of a rest? Because the guy, without Brozovic, we're a different team. We're a completely different team. So can this guy replace him? Let's start with Aslani then.
For Aslani, to be honest, until I saw Inter being linked to him is when I started doing my research about him. And he has the traits, he has the capability, but we're talking about epic Brozo here. Like the man is like one of the most unreplaceable guys. So at the end of the day, we're asking this kid to come in and, give relief to a man that the team runs on. Like if Brozovic is not there, I don't know how Lukaku and them are going to look like, but we've seen the games we played. Sassuolo destroyed us I think Florentina's and Torino were the other two games. We couldn't get any wins there. We were not ourselves. So we're gonna see. The only good thing is we don't need him to be the player today. Maybe tomorrow or down the road. So he has time to elevate. He has time to develop. I see him maybe. He could probably do some cameo. Maybe if Brozovic gets a yellow, or you know how Simone loves to take people out when they get cautions. But I don't see him much unless we're winning by 3 goals or something. He'll come in. Bellanova, I, probably Gianni can talk about him. I don't really know much about him.
Tell us a little bit about him. Is he a Perisic type of player? Is he a Gosens type of player? Is he a
Bellanova
Darmian?
is more. I would say he's more of a Gozens type of player in the sense that he doesn't have the crossing ability that Perisic has, and by that I mean like being 2-footed. But he's got the pace of Hakimi. Like it's unbelievable how fast this kid is, and I'm hoping that by like week 4, 5, he puts Dumfries to the bench. Sorry, Hooyan, but it's time. It's Bellanova's time to
Don't
shine
hold your
with this
breath.
team.
I would say don't
Bro,
hold your breath.
this kid is incredible. The only thing that he has to work on that he doesn't have um, compared to Dumfries is a defensive ability. But I'm sure Inzaghi's going to work on him with that. And although I say week 4 or 5, it's not really going to happen. But I'm hoping at some point in the season he'll be able to start because he is a fantastic footballer, and I'm really excited about that signing. And in regards to Aslani, I mean, he's actually like a little mold of Barella and Brozovic. He's got good pace, and he's got the defensive mid ability where he's able to sit back and be, a deep line playmaker for us. Although Nima and Sempre Inter showed some interesting statistics about his long ball playing ability, it's when I watched him play for Empoli, I mean, to me, he was always the best player for them game in and game out. So I'm excited with that one too. And then he could, like, if you want to give Barella a start or a rest, I mean, you could put Aslani up front there and let him play in that position. If you want to give Hakan a day off, you can put Aslani there. Like, he could fill all 3 positions in the midfield very well. And I think that that's another amazing signing by Marotta and the team there. So
What are we doing with this guy then? Agome. I was a big fan of Agome. Like when he first started, I was like,
Same.
this is a guy we need. The way he plays the ball between the lines, the way he drives forward, the physicality. And he's young. I don't know why we didn't give him a chance. But do you guys see him at all, or we're loaning him out? Or what is happening with this guy? Because I liked to see Agome on the field with Inter, even at friendlies.
yeah, I mean, when he's played in the friendlies, even last season, he looked like an amazing player. Sometimes he looked like he lost a little interest mentally. Like he would just get caught, not really engaged in certain things and let a man kind of beat him or not give him, his 100%. But when he does feel like playing, and maybe he doesn't take, the preseason seriously. I don't know. I mean, he's still, 19, 20, 21, whatever it is. He's a kid, so he's still got a little bit more maturing to do. As much as I like him and would want to see him maybe integrated in some way, because he's still an upgrade, in my opinion, over the Vecinos, Vidals, and who else did we have last year? Gagliardini's. Like, I mean, he's an upgrade. So, I mean, chances are they're going to loan him out again. I don't think the management really value him, and maybe they, Hooyan, I think it was you that had a tweet that his mentality, maybe that is something they recognize, that he's just not really fully there in the mental aspect of the game. So they may want to see him mature and loan. I think you got to loan him out to a Serie A team that's going to play him, though. When we loaned him to Spezia, he just sat on the bench the whole time. And I don't know if that was an attitude thing too then, but I think he needs to play in Serie A so we could actually see if there is something there. He came with a lot of hype, being like the young Pogba, they were saying. So that's a lot of pressure to live up to, I feel. But if there is anything close to that resembles that, I mean, why would we sell him,
No, definitely. I think it really is. It really is a mental thing. It's a mental off the field issue that we don't see all the time, that the managers and coaches see, that is going on with him. And realistically, I think that's going to cost him. And I think it really did cost him his position, because Aslani now coming in, and you can tell everybody's energetic about Aslani because of how quick the deal got done, how they went after him, and they see the maturity. Lukaku even introduced him, saying that his mental is very strong. So I don't see him anywhere in Inter, unfortunately.
Hey, listen, I know that we're hyped about Aslani and everything, but to be honest, I would have rather seen Agomi play. To be honest, I know that you guys like Aslani and everything, but I've seen Agomi as one of the future and one of the guys for the future and one of the kids that can play football. And but it is unfortunate, but I still hoping that he will get his chance. The last thing, a lot of people are talking about Gosens. How do you guys see Gosens season? How do you guys see Gosens after the problem is he's following the best player in Inter last year. He's following Perisic. So how do you guys see that? How do you like? I'm excited about Gosens. I think he will get us at least double digits goal and assists. To be honest, I think he will get us 10, 15 goal involvements. He's a great asset to have. Is he going to be able to replace Perisic?
Who you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. I think we all have short-term memory. I feel like that's what it is. Like we only remember what happened, yesterday and not, last week. And a couple seasons ago, maybe a season or two ago, Robin Gosens was not, I would say, in my opinion, top three best in the world at his position. And not only just for club and nation, the man is amazing. His speed, he got that. His agility, everything. Does he has the technical ability at Perisic? No. Can he cross from small angles like Perisic? No. But he also gives you the run in the back, like he scored that goal against Milan. He's going to do a lot of that. I feel like him and Dumfries are going to complement each other really well of how he do. And one thing, I don't know if you guys saw him. He tweeted something out or he wrote something that he's ready to unleash. Like he really wants to show his work. And I think him replacing Perisic gives him that extra fire. Like I need this. Like sometimes players that already know their name is going to be on the starting 11, then they tend to get comfortable and they really, they don't like, they feel like, why should I do extra work? I have the position locked down. I'm going to be on it. But him being on the bench for Perisic really woke him up and say, people really think I'm done? Okay, let's see. Let me show you. So I'm excited for Robin Gosens. I'm predicting he's going to be the top 2 or 3 player when season's done for Inter. We're going to be like, wow, So that's my opinion on him.
Yeah, no, I
Gianni,
mean, I just echo pretty
tell
much
me about
everything.
Gosens, but also tell me about Gosens. Are we gonna focus on Gosens, or people are saying we're gonna focus on Dumfries, or is it Villanova? Like, are we gonna still be a left-sided team?
I think so, 100%. I think Gozen's like, I picked him to be my breakout player of the year. Like, I really like the disrespect that people are putting on his name, thinking like they're acting like we're going from Perisic to Nagatomo. Like, it makes no sense to me. Like, this guy was easily the best left wing back in the world. And now, Perisic was having a tremendous season. But I also look at it as like Perisic was also on a contract year. Like, he wanted to prove that he deserved one more big payday. And this is what, like, I mean, he came out and balled. He balled out, the last 2 years for Inter. And listen, I thank him for everything. But Gosens is coming in, and it is going to be an amazing season for him. I really do. I think he'll get 10 goals and maybe like 5 or 6, maybe 7 assists. Like I am not worried about this at all. In fact, for what we're getting, like going from, Perisic to Gosens, it's like a lateral movement to me. We're not going to step down. I'm not even going to say we're going to step above. It's going to be the same type of expectations. The only thing, like Hooyan said, that he doesn't have that ability to cross with both feet, and he doesn't have that ability to kind of like beat a man like with a step over and then cross it in one way or another in a tight space. However, he does bring in that speed in the box, that back post run. He can deliver a good cross with his right foot. Now, how that works out or what they end up doing to make that really a weapon for him, I can't wait. So I'm I'm not worried about Gosens. I'm actually going to be buying his kit this year. So
People are saying our build-up play is gonna be more predictable without Perisic. It's actually the other one. We were actually very predictable with Perisic there because everybody knew that we're going left side, and without Lukaku, we're gonna go left-sided. To be honest, one comment. That's the last thing we're gonna talk about. We've been going for an hour. I want the predictions for Lukaku, Lautaro goals. This is what people are saying. One more thing is, are we gonna see the Lautaro that will get 30 plus goals, or he's gonna be outshined by the likes of Lukaku if Dybala comes in as well? Gianni.
I think I think Lukaku is going to take the penalty away from Lautaro, and thank God, because I had a heart attack every time somebody other than Lukaku was taking the penalty. Like whether it was Di Marco, whether it was Perisic, Hakan, everybody made me nervous. I didn't trust any of them. Lukaku will definitely ease that. I mean, the guy went 14 for 14 for us. So I think that Lukaku will probably put, I'm going to say like 35, 36 goals in all competitions next year. And Lautaro, although before we got Lukaku, I was saying that Lautaro is going to win the Capocannoniere. I don't really think that's going to happen now. So I'll say 22 to 25 goals for Lautaro in all competitions. But I would have said 30 to 35 if there was no Lukaku for Lauti.
Hooyan, do you think he's going to score 35 goals?
I'm gonna say no, and not the fact that he's not a top player. Lautaro is amazing; he's good, but we don't depend on a single goal scorer. We're a team that distributes the ball around. We had, I think, 18 different goal scorers last year, and I think I want to say 3 or 2 people reached the double digits. So that it's really difficult for one player, especially when you're playing with 2 strikers, and that you don't have the penalty duties and all that stuff for him to hit. I think he'll probably hit 20 again. Max maybe 25, but at the end of the day, we just need them to be important goals. Yes, we love our goal scorers to score constantly, but we care more about the important goals, the goal winners. So that's why I'm rooting for him. Definitely, I'm rooting for a player any striker to be the top scorer. But it's just so difficult about how we play and how we move the ball, and that's a good thing, by the way, too.
Lautaro will play at ease next season because Lukaku will take the attention for him. I think this is something else. Like he's not gonna have all the attention that was on all that weight on his thing. Gerald is asking something about the Inter jersey. I really don't know. If you guys know, I really don't know. Normally, when I buy jerseys, I buy them from the Inter store and get them shipped. There is a way to ship them for free through FedEx or something like this. But
small promotion for Inter, like Gianni, we were saying, everybody try to buy as much merchandise as possible, especially if Skriniar stays. We need to raise as much capital.
Spend all that money, man.
Spend all that money.
Get your coworkers to buy kits. Get your family to buy kits.
Get your cups.
Buy every single kit you can, because Inter's going to need the money to keep all these guys.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Okay. This is it for us, guys, tonight. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. Before you leave, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, share the video. Thank you so much for your support. I want to thank my 2 amazing guests. I'm sure they're going to go and fight on Twitter Space in about half an hour or something, and we're going to see all this.
He's not ready.
He's not ready for it, Gianni, right? He's not ready.
Join us, everyone. Join us. We've been doing the space thing on Twitter. If you have Twitter, we're gonna keep it going as long as the content coming. So join us, but bring your earplugs because a lot of not pleasant stuff comes out.
Wisha is saying they have been civil. It's always with the love. People just take it in the wrong way. It's always with the love. It's always with the respect. Hooyan, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Mo, for having me. Thank you for always hosting this, you and Anthony. And I hope for an amazing season that we come and celebrate. I can't wait. It's one of the most exciting. I've never been this much excited in a long time to see Inter get back on the field.
Gianmarco, Gianni, thank you so much for being here. Always, they gives us the facts and the calmness and the optimism. I'm just gonna call you the optimistic Inter fan, to be honest. Very calm,
I'll take
collective. Thank you so much for being with us here.
Thank you, guys.
And from all of us here at Inter Worldwide, all the Inter community, all the English-speaking Inter community around the world, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate your support, and we're going to try to give you as much content as we can and the best content we can bring up. Thank you so much, guys, for being here, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.